In Minnesota, we know how to protect one another, and I have been incredibly proud the way our neighbors have shown up for one another. It's been beautiful to see, and that kind of resistance is why ICE agents seem so angry and agitated, because they have never experienced the kind of love that we experience here in Minnesota.
And we can't wait till November. There's no waiting to the ballot box. We need to get to the bullet box.
Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States.
ICE is made up? I guess the FBI is too, huh? I guess the Secret Service, I guess all those are just made up too. I guess they're not real law enforcement either. What in the world? Oh, come, this is embarrassing. Why are they doing this? See, this is the type of thing where people don't get it from my point of view when I say this is how we get embarrassed. The whole Fannie Mae and what's her name, the other lady in Georgia, they're putting these people on the forefronts like this, and they're coming off as looking completely ridiculous and ignorant. It's like the equivalent of them giving that statue of that big old fat black woman. You know what I'm talking about? It's just, yeah. And it's already starting off bad.
Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States.
Tell them, girl.
Did you hear what I said?
We heard you, girl. Tell them again.
No law enforcement professional wears a mask.
Y'all have SWAT. Y'all wore masks when y'all raided my family in them house back in the early 90s. 3 times I unfortunately had to be in the house of one of my family members, and they got raided. Y'all came in with masks, and there was not, you guys were the police, you were the SWAT team. The heck?
None. Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, and thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner. Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime
are criminals. Like, look up the crime in Minnesota. Look up the crime in Minnesota, period. Look up, y'all, go look up any robberies or the R word, sexual assaults. Go look up any of those things that took place in Minnesota at any time.
And in Minnesota, we know how to protect one another, and I have been incredibly proud the way our neighbors have shown up for one another. It's been beautiful to see, and that kind of resistance is why ICE agents seem so angry and agitated, because they have never experienced the kind of love that we experience here in Minnesota. And we know that they are going to disappear one day, but we will be here caring for one another and carrying out policy with love here in
Walls, girls, and balls! Walls, girls, and balls! Walls, girls, and balls! El pueblo presente! El pueblo presente! He was taken by ICE just the other day! Somebody say shame! And they murder when they ignore calls from people who really need them, and when they assist ICE! So to Jacob Fry, we say fuck you! You are not doing enough! Words are not enough. We need action now. There goes to Tim Walz. You think it's gonna help anybody bringing the National Guard to Minnesota? Stop the war on the people.
Oh shit, not good.
Get the fuck back. It is time to fight.
Okay, I think we're at the point now where we need less signs at these protests and more people with them.
Remember, people, if a masked man tries to kidnap you, put a bullet in his fucking face.
We have to show up with guns. We have to. There's no other way around it. I don't care if I don't have a Minnesota carry permit. I'm unarmed right now, but this is the last time I show up to face these guys without a weapon. There's no way. I got shot with a pepper ball 5 minutes after walking in here. I never laid a finger on them. I never raised a hand to them. I've only been using my voice. The time for speaking is over. The time for niceties is over. The time for peace is over. They fired the first shot. It is time to end this shit by any means necessary.
You're talking about, potentially going to a dark place in this country. Do you foresee...
We're there. This is the dark place. This is the dark time. We have people being sent to Salvadorian concentration camps. We got other countries being raided for their oil. We're in the dark time. There's no way out of this. There's no voting our way out of this. We can't wait till November. There's no waiting to the ballot box. We need to get to the bullet box. That's the only way. If there was another way, I'd be advocating for it. I've spoken peacefully. I've marched peacefully. I marched without Sharpton. I marched on Washington. I've been peaceful. I've acted peacefully. The time for peace is over. The time for any means necessary is right now.
I've never seen such insanity in my life. Where were they when Ashley Babbitt got shot? She didn't have a gun. She didn't have a weapon. She just climbed through a window. Yeah. Whoa.
Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles.
Phrase that right. Moving vehicles that are what, trying to run you over?
I'm not saying fleeing because she wasn't fleeing.
What do you call that?
She was getting out of the way.
Okay. Anytime anyone in Minnesota, if anyone in Minnesota, listen to the Minnesotans, anytime y'all get pulled over by the police, whether y'all are speeding, whether y'all got cocaine, drugs in the car, anytime y'all are pulled over and the officer asks you for your ID, when he gets out of his car, drive away, okay? Like she said, drive away because you will not be considered fleeing the scene. You will be considered getting out of the way. If you are in the midst of robbing a bank, stealing an ATM or anything like that, and you are approached by the police, you have a right to be getting out of the way. You're not fleeing, okay? You're not fleeing. You're getting out of the way.
Law enforcement professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles.
It wasn't moving until she pressed the accelerator. He was already standing there, and I gave you guys all kind of angles. He was already, when they was first on approach her, he was walking around with his camera. He made eye contact with her. She reversed the car, and then she put it forward as her wife yelled, "Go, go, baby, go," or "Drive, drive, baby, drive." What are you talking about?
Invoking an action that is illegal.
So wait, if police didn't tell you to stop, go back, listen to this. I'm gonna let y'all hear this whole part.
Where? Law enforcement professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles invoking an action that is illegal.
So they made her do it. They made her do some illegal stuff.
Now, if you ask me, this is the real victim in all of this. Everything else can be disputed, but if I don't want no trouble, were a person, it would be that dog. And if you ask me, this is just bad pet parenting. But it also makes sense if you know any lesbians in real life, because lesbians will take their dogs absolutely anywhere.
You know, since this story first came out, I was worried about that dog and wondered if anybody else said anything about it.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
It sounded like she said, "That's okay, dude. I'm not mad at you." Well, why would you be mad? You're the one that's obstructing. It makes no sense to me at all. But really, none of the thinking from these people makes any sense to me at all. Because what everybody forgets in all of this, which is something J.D. Vance mentioned as well, is that this is the will of the American people. This is what we voted for. So people like this, while they think they're standing in the way of ICE, really what they're doing is standing in the way of what some of their fellow citizens like myself, actually voted for, and that's for ICE to be able to do their job. So while you may feel like you're a hero, I don't understand why you want to be a hero to people that don't belong in this country, rather than understanding that this is what your fellow citizens voted for. While everybody loves to talk about democracy, nobody wants to respect it when it's not convenient for them.
What we're not going to do is try to compare this to Charlie Kirk.
It is so hard to sit here sometimes because I didn't come to Congress to write laws.
Yeah, Crockett, that's kind of your job, but go on, piss me the off.
The fact that a woman was killed, she was shot in her head, and y'all are pretending like nothing happened.
No, Crockett, what we're not doing is gaslighting American people into thinking that this woman was told to back up and leave, and that's all she was doing, when the reality is they told her to get out of her car. There was an agent in front of the car. She backed up just enough to drive forward and hit the agent before anything happened. That's what we're not going to do, and we're not going to ignore the fact that the government in Minnesota could have done stuff to stop this prior to this happening. They knew it was going to happen. They were waiting for it to happen, and we're not going to ignore that. It's still sad, but we're not going to ignore it. It's their responsibility. It's their fault.
I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you remember what our response was?
Yeah, Crockett, I remember when they called for a prayer in the whole entire house, and you specifically are heard screaming, "Hell nah."
Let's wait a minute. The house will be in order.
Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay.
Your response was to sit there and say that Robinson was MAGA.
The reality is that the average person on the left probably couldn't make a shot from 200 yards because they haven't been playing with assault rifles since they were a little kid. Like, that is just the reality of how people on the left typically work.
You mocking this man's death? Still mocking this man's death? You all have no business saying Charlie Kirk's name out of your mouths at all. Because Charlie was innocent.
Well, the truth is, I think this woman is a sacrificial lamb that the Democrats are using to divert your interest from all the fraud in Minnesota to this.
About fraud in Minnesota, I believe you've uncovered something new. You are the chair of the Senate Doge Committee. What have you got uncovered?
Yes, absolutely, Stuart. There is a ton of fraud in Minnesota and many other states. But what I uncovered the other day in one of our spending bills making its way through Congress was a $1 million earmark from Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, which was an earmark that was supposedly going to a substance abuse clinic, which actually happened to be housed in a restaurant and run by 3 individuals that share the same residential address, according to their IRS paperwork.
Certainly there's been a tragic circumstance occur in Minnesota. I'm sorry that this has taken place, but this is no surprise to you.
No, I've been warning about this since before March. Because of all the hateful rhetoric, I said, if the hateful rhetoric doesn't decrease, we're going to see bloodshed. Of course, I was called fear-mongering, threatening, but unfortunately I was right. We had an instance right here outside of Dallas where, we had detainees shot by someone trying to shoot ICE officers. We had a facility attack, and an officer was shot there. And I said just last week, with the rhetoric continuing and increasing, that I don't think it's over yet. Then we had this incident in Minneapolis yesterday. It's tragic. It's another example of tragedy that follows the hateful rhetoric against ICE, calling them Nazis and racists and Gestapo, and it just empowers those crazy people on the left that it justifies actions they want to take about ICE and the interference and the trying to stop ICE from doing what they're doing and attacking ICE officers. It's just increasing.
And you're not leaving Minnesota.
We're not leaving Minnesota. And I said the other night on one of the networks that I said for months, there should be no surprise to anybody. I said for months, with these new resources, we're going to flood the zone in sanctuary cities. Why? Not because of blue, not because of Democrat, because we know that's where a problem is. We know public safety threats are being released back into the public every day, and they won't give us access to the jail. So we're going to send our resources where the biggest public safety threats are. And where is that? In cities that won't work with ICE and release public safety threat, illegal aliens back in the community to reoffend. Look at, anybody can Google recidivism rates. Look at recidivism rates. Many of these people are going to commit another crime in the very near future. We want to stop that.
Well, we'll stay in touch about what's going on in Minnesota and keep everybody abreast of it. But as you say, this has to play out and find out what the facts are.
This has to play out, and I'm begging. Look, I'm begging. Tone down the rhetoric. In my career, I've buried Border Patrol agents, I've buried ICE agents, and the saddest thing I've ever had to do is hand a forward flag to a spouse or a child. I don't want to see anybody die. Anybody. The people we're looking for, even the worst of the worst. I don't want to see anybody die. So, for God's sake, let's tone the rhetoric down.
Well, I've said it before, and I really believe it, that this is really a spiritual battle, and I think there's a devil in this world, and he's ramping those people up, getting them to hate and want to do terrible things. Because it's just, look at it. Look at it closely, and I think you'll see the same thing.